Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Wade and Carter Show. Ash Brent live with you from the Atzenhofer studio, as we are every morning. Glad you're all here. Glad you're checking in. Marvin Mickish, Bobby Leister, Mark Kurtz on the podium this morning. Post-Caldo Wednesday, Thursday.
Great group of men right there. I saw Bobby Leister just yesterday at HEB. He and I see each other a lot there. I go because we cook fresh every day. I think Bobby goes just to make friends.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like therapeutic. Some people go to the mall and walk. Some men go to the mall and just sit on the benches. Bobby goes and he'll walk around the HEB store for like a half hour and leave with a
small bag, potatoes,
cilantro. He'll leave with cilantro. The Wade and Carter weather brought to you by the great folks at AT Deerland Feed. For everything you need, there's Deerland Feed. I'm due. I've got to go back. It's expensive. You don't have to over apply. I need to get some more bifin. I mix that with a gallon of water.
Yep.
I don't know why. I mix it with a gallon of warm water. And then I go around and just spot spray everywhere behind the refrigerator, behind the washer and dryer. And it is amazing that, I grew up in a home.
I bifined yesterday.
My house was always wonderfully clean. My mother was an amazing homemaker. And yet, I can remember as a kid, that we kept like a bag of potatoes in the pantry, if you will. It was really just a little closet at that time, that little house. But you would just find roaches and things, and they just found a way to get in. Now we know they came in with the paper bags. We used to keep the paper bags. Did you guys have paper bags in Canada?
Yep.
Did you keep them for?
We used them. My dad used them. My mom and dad used them to line the trash can. The black plastic garbage bag went on the outside of the can. The paper one on the inside, and that kept the bags.
And yet now we know that those are all made out of recycled cardboard and things, and that they harbor roach eggs. It's amazing. Anyway, all that to be said, bifin will make that go away. 65 degrees under sunny skies in Victoria, Texas, heading to a high today of 90. 90.
Going to be a nice one.
Just real quick, the president's safe. He's at a state dinner in China right now.
They literally rolled out the red carpet for him yesterday.
Oh, and they had Chinese kids waving American flags and Chinese flags. And the whole thing is such a fake charade of just bull. It's just bull. The Chinese, it's like they need us, and yet they absolutely hate us.
Yep.
They hate the Western way of life much more than lazy, uncommitted Americans hate communism. I say communism, if you're American at all, it gives you a little bit of a cringe. You remember what Russia was like back in the day before they rode their communism train into poverty. And you've got China right now who just absolutely, they hate the fact that we trade with Taiwan. They hate the fact that we tariff their goods. And yet, what's his name? Xi Jinping, whatever, they sit around and act like, oh man, America, oh good, look, America. They're waving American flags.
But he knows, though. I mean, he told Trump when he got there that the whole world's watching our meeting. He knows the importance of
He
this.
does, and yet in private, if there is such a thing, I've been told, and I don't buy all of the propaganda that the United States throws out about China either. Sean Hannity yesterday reporting that he's convinced, he's accepted that there are cameras and bugs and all types of communist spy paraphernalia in his hotel room. The Chinese picked a room for him.
Yeah.
It's apparently extremely opulent, very nice. They want him to make nice about how great they are.
Is Melania with him?
With the president?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
No, didn't make this trip.
I don't know that, but I don't think so. There's Paul Hildebrandt. Good morning, sir.
Paul.
But I just find that it's I read a deal yesterday on X that just said, this is the second time Trump has gone to China. We know who the big brother is here. It's China. China is the boss. That's why Trump went. I believe the president is going to offer, behind closed doors, some concessions on tariffs on Chinese-made goods into the U.S. in exchange for America to sell some more goods into China, and China's commitment to backing off support of Iran.
Well, and I think that's why 17 American CEOs went to China with them to show, hey, these are the guys that are driving your economy right now by building products that Americans in the world want,
using your chips, China, using your technology.
And if you don't play nice and do what we want, I mean, there's no way Apple's going to take the iPhone and make it in the U.S. because they can't make it too much.
We did the exploration. We did a deep dive just in Trump's first term, a deep dive into the capabilities of India. You may recall Trump being in India and the streets lined with literally tens of thousands of young Indians waving American flags. I could Francis Martell this morning on Breitbart.
Samsung successfully pulled out of China and start manufacturing TVs in India now.
She opined that it was sad how many hours the very young Chinese school children were forced to practice in order to serenade Donald Trump. She said, you have to think about the human rights side of things. There's David Ballard. Good morning, brother-in-law. JP Hull's in. Good morning, JP. Thanks for the Wade and Carter studio, you and Mr. Geets. Thank you, sir. You just have to wonder, with the disdain being so great, I just think that China has never been more vulnerable than they are right now. They're struggling for fuel. They're struggling with their economy.
Yeah, their economy, I think in 2025, their real GDP growth was like lower than 1%. It's not where it needs to be in a country second largest or the largest populace in the world, and
maybe behind India now.
Maybe now.
Did you hear? I don't know if it was Francis or the guest beforehand that said that China had built, number one, that in Shanghai and places like that, they've done all these their government-based, construction jobs, and that they've got buildings all over that are just empty. They're beautiful buildings. They're tall. They're state-of-the-art looking, but it's just a charade.
Well, that's how you keep people working in a communist country. You build things that have no reason to be built because you have to keep people working so you can continue the charade and the lie that everybody has a job and everybody is meaningful to the motherland.
Right. And they're just not.
No.
They want you to believe that they're thriving when in reality, their one child per family program has backfired. As we see right here in the United States, the slow growth of our population has made it to the point that we're not sustaining ourselves. More people die every day than are born every day. And it's not working for the U.S. Now, in China, they came in and said, you can't have more than one kid for a while. There were stories of people killing young girls.
Well, that started under Mao Zedong, and Mao's been dead since the 1970s, and that policies began. I mean, so effectively, they destroyed their population
a generation
in a generation. Absolutely,
it's akin to literally the Democrats keeping the black community down for decades by putting abortion clinics near the ghetto. That's what they did. That's how you want to get rid of all the blacks. Just let them kill themselves.
Yeah, I mean, Planned Parenthood did that by design. I mean, it was where the business was.
That's right. Give it to them and let them kill themselves. Someday we'll find out that it's the Democrats that are flying 9mm ammo into Chicago.
Yeah,
so they can all just kill themselves.
Well, they flew it into Mexico. Remember?
Yeah. Linda Chris points out the Chinese can now have 2 children per family. But you've got complete freedom in China. Oh, you can have up to 2 kids. Okay.
And they didn't want, they didn't want females. They wanted young males. They were killing their female babies when there was one family, or selling them into slavery, or doing everything else because they weren't seen as valuable as male children to the family who needed them to work.
Absolutely. Derek Lewis chimes in. People are good. Power-driven leadership is what spoils a nation. The Chinese people would love to have the freedom of America. Now, I'm going to give you a little caveat here. The only reason that Derek Lewis is actually commenting is because he knows that I deem him family, and today's his birthday. So we would never do this on this program. We don't. Do we do this?
No.
We would never say happy birthday. But if we did stoop to that familiarity level where we said happy birthday to someone, it would be to you, sir.
Yeah.
There you go.
And here's the thing with China changing their policy to allow more than one child. It's going to take a generation to get there.
Yeah.
If it took this long, 50 years for them to finally realize, oops, stupid policy.
Yeah. No, yeah, they've reversed it, but they reversed it too late, I think.
And
Scott Tompkins says the real point is that they control it. What if you were a Chinese farmer, the person that actually provides the food to the cities, and they tell you you can only have 2 kids? I mean, it's hard.
I mean, there were stories back in the 80s of them the Chinese Communist Party forcibly going in and taking kids that if you had too many of them.
Yeah, they would just take them. And then next thing you know, they were gymnasts. Probably.
So. Now they're skiers and figure skaters.
Yeah.
They haven't quite gotten curling down, and they're not very good at hockey.
Well, I guess there is ice in China, isn't there? Are there frozen tundras in China?
Yep.
Just right there.
Over by the Himalayas.
Communist and ice. They remind me of Canada.
Vodka.
Canada. They have vodka there?
No, but you said communist and ice.
They had.
I was thinking of the
if
motherland.
You have a communist and some ice, what else do you need? Vodka.
Yeah, I was thinking of the motherland.
Comrade. No kidding.
In the sweat house with the men.
At any rate, I'm sure that at some point it'll be very difficult for Donald Trump to bite his tongue while he's in China.
Well, I think it's going to be very difficult to not point out that China's helping Iran by still buying their oil. And I mean, Iran took a pause for about 3 weeks from really doing anything. And why was that? Well, they were silently restocking all their drones and missiles. And where are those coming from? Reportedly North Korea and Russia. Well, where do they get all their stuff from? China.
But
I can't. It's got to be on the table as well.
I can't discount the importance of these meetings, though. You can see by Trump's involvement in the relationship with North Korea, we haven't heard much out of Kim Jong-un. He's apparently settled down on testing missiles and all of that stuff. I have a very close friend that traveled to China on a business meeting, and they asked him, where all are you going to visit? Like, this would be like when you're going through the airport, where all are you going to visit while you're here? What other countries will you be in? And they were going somewhere, and they were also going to Taiwan. And he mentioned, well, we're going to be in Shanghai, and then we're going to, I don't know, in India, and then we're going to Taiwan. And the guy said, Taiwan is China. And he was very, like, in his face, like very, like, I might not let you in here unless you acknowledge that. So,
yeah, it'll be interesting to see what all, I mean, obviously trade, but I don't think it matters. I mean, think about it. We tariffed them. Didn't seem to change anything they're doing.
Right.
There was, I mean, when the Paris Accord was first signed, China didn't have to sign it, but there was political pressure from around the world to try to get them to clean things up.
Which had no effect. It had no effect. They still burn more coal than any other country. And they're building coal-powered plants.
They've still got about one a month in the queue.
Trump would like to sell them coal.
They're also, demolishing mountains and ecosystems to put in solar and wind.
Stupid.
Nobody talks about that. But they don't care. They don't seem to care what the West or what the U.S. does to them. It doesn't seem to change anything.
No, they live in a vacuum over there to a degree.
But I think bringing some of these CEOs along, say, I mean, if BlackRock says, hey, you know, they have what, like $10 trillion in their BlackRock empire. Hey, we want to invest in China. You don't think that'll start? Apple says something like, hey, we're going to expand our manufacturing in China. That'll have impact on China.
Absolutely.
But nothing you can do politically has any impact on them. They just don't care. So it'll be interesting to see how it all shakes out. I thought this was an interesting story that I saw last night. Hill County, county commissioners there in a 3-2 vote. So it wasn't unanimous, but they decided to put a pause on a data center being built in that county. That's south of Dallas, southwest of Dallas, I think is Hill County.
Right.
They approved a 1-year moratorium on data center development. They had a big one, I guess, planned for the area. 300 acres, I think, was in Hillsboro. And the county commissioners there said that they wanted more time to decide what impact it was going to have on their water, their land, the infrastructure, and the pollution. So they aren't doing it. I think it's an interesting stand that a county has taken. Do they just go to the next county because Hill County is not going to do it? So they're just going to walk over to, I don't know.
I don't know how much of the information, you hear all the time. These things are very electricity centric and of course, water is the buzzword in the state, and that they use a lot of water. And I don't know. The rush to create data centers is a little alarming. I was just reading this thing. Have you already heard of this Nova Clean Energy closes acquisition of a 1 gigawatt wind and solar development asset portfolio from BNB Renewables? This is we're going to get somebody in here to talk about this. Commenting on the announcement, Josh Nicholas,
yeah.
CEO of BNB, said, "This is an excellent project, and we're pleased to have partners with the Nova Clean Energy team to bring it to market. A lot of important stakeholders have come together to help us get to this point, and we want to thank the landowners, community members, and local officials, including the county commissioners, the ISD, and the VEDC, for their ongoing support. Together, we and Nova look forward to working and learning from this community in Calhoun and Victoria counties in order to provide a low-cost green energy." So I did not know.
I think this is this the small nuclear reactor?
No, they're talking about wind and solar.
Oh,
and
okay.
I know that there have been crews in our county for a year building a huge, supposedly, many acres of solar farm. But I did not know that this came from Congressman Cloud. Had you heard of this? And I said, no, I had not. So there you have it. If you know anything about Nova or this project, if you, JP Hull, know anything about it from a VEDC standpoint, we would love to hear from you.
Was this related to that meeting? Is it tonight, or did it already happen that Shannon Martin was going to have regarding Precinct 3? That I heard was a data center or something.
There you go. I don't know. Shannon Martin apparently doing a really fine job as county commissioner. It's a nice gig. County commissioner's a nice gig.
And I brought the Hill County thing up because I heard there was we talked about yesterday, there was a data center that was talked about what was going to happen here. So I found it interesting that Hill County said no. But my question is, though, all these counties are, data center bad. If all of a sudden they found a similar play in Hill County like the Eagle Ford, they'd be all over it.
Absolutely.
And oil uses lots of water. As we've learned from talking with Sarah Stogner, eventually the wells lead to bad water.
Yep.
In West Texas.
They would all sell their souls for that royalty.
Absolutely they would.
Torn Bill, speaking of water, Torn Bill says, whatever happened to the Corpus water problem? I thought they only had 2 weeks of water left. I didn't think they had that much rain. They didn't. In fact, I was surprised with as much rain as we had around here that I drove across the lake over there between Edna and Ganado to find very little difference in the water level. It's not up much at all. And I don't know if that means that Corpus sucked all that water out the minute it came in. I don't know. Tell me.
Jeep weekend's happening in Galveston this weekend, and I guess state troopers have been deployed to the city as Galveston County Sheriff Jimmy Fullen says, we don't want all the rowdies coming down here shooting, kidnapping, sexually assaulting, and running over our kids. Is that what happens on a Jeep weekend?
I don't know. I find it somewhat okay. So look at this. If you're Galveston, I get it that we all like to have a nice, aggressive sheriff. Ours, by the way, I think is an ideal combination. Sheriff Justin Marr is ideal at being a no-nonsense law enforcement guy, but a very pro-community guy. So the sheriff of your county, Jimmy Fullen, says, we want people to come down and enjoy themselves. Now, they left that out of the soundbite. Yeah. We don't want all the rowdies coming down here shooting, kidnapping, sexually assaulting, and running over our kids who are playing on the beaches. Sir, we're going to do everything we can to deter that. Galveston, by the way, will be hotel room poor this weekend because all these Jeep people stay, they spend money, they eat in your restaurants. It just took me back to Jaws, right? Don't tell anybody the sharks are there. It's tourist month. Yeah. But I don't think if you're their economic development corp that you want the sheriff out there kind of rogue looking like Galveston isn't a tourist friendly city when tourism is what they do. Very interesting how you could say in a softer tone, the Galveston Sheriff's Office is here to make sure that everyone has a pleasurable experience in our wonderful town with our beautiful beaches and our expensive restaurants.
Well, one of the clicktohouston.com had talked to a couple of longtime residents. One said the increased police presence last year was very well welcomed, and it seemed to control some of the things that were getting out of control in 2024. And one business owner says he understands the trade-off. He says it's one weekend where the weather is not ridiculously hot,
right?
But at the same time, people are here spending money.
I tell you what, if we could get Pebble Beach over there by the park, we could have the Jeep rally here and they could be rowdy. In fact, if they want to take their own kids and run over them, that's fine. Check into our hotels, eat at our restaurants.
So everybody that enters will have to go through one checkpoint. There'll be no ATVs, golf carts, or UTVs allowed on the beach. This is all on the Boulevard Peninsula. So there you go.
Yeah. No glass containers, speed limit of 15 miles an hour, no reckless driving, no littering, no driving on the dunes, no bonfires. Pets must be on a leash. Open container laws apply to all vehicles. You may come here, you may sit, you may stand. That's it.
Last year, more than 500 law enforcement officers were deployed for Jeep weekend. That number is down to 300.
How many people are going to be there?
Yeah, it's big. But I guess they said that they understand the situation better, so they don't need 500. They only need 300 this year. So interesting. Anyone from here heading there?
I don't know. I know I'm not. I drive a Bronco.
Yeah, you're not invited. Julie Flessner says Rockport just issued a water emergency due to the drought.
Oh, come on. This can't be right. Jeep weekend or Go Topless weekend on the Bolivar Peninsula in Galveston County has historically drawn huge crowds, with officials estimating more than 100,000 visitors. Wow. 300 cops doesn't seem like a lot.
In addition to, but yeah.
The 8 that are in Galveston full time.
Well, and it ain't 1,000 Jeepsters going there. It's probably, 70,000 Jeepsters and 30,000 people looking to wreak havoc.
Yeah.
On the boulevard.
Junior says those Jeeps stay out on Bolivar
Yeah,
mainly.
they do.
Pitch tents, camp out, rape women, and run over kids. Yeah. JP Hull says that is true about the water emergency notice for Rockport. You see the connection here? A man like JP, he goes to town and they run short of water. Spanky's loads up on scotch because you got to have it on the yacht.
As of Tuesday, City of Rockport declared a water shortage emergency because of the drought conditions and dwindling supplies. The city now under stage 3 restrictions. Trying to see what stage 3 restrictions mean.
Wow. Stage 3. What if you typed in stage 3 water restrictions into that? You ever notice how sometimes we actually need Commander Cody? It'd be great if he was here. You don't know what you're missing till it's gone. You look that up while I take a quick break.
Okay.
Folks, USA Foundation Repair, as we do have drought conditions, folks, slabs start to shift and crack. Doors don't close. You find those unsightly cracks above doors in your sheetrock. Call USA Foundation Repair at 578-HOME. Charlie Garcia and his brothers, literally the brothers Garcia, will come out and give you an estimate to repair your slab. They can do that. Veracruz Restaurant, today is post-Caldo Wednesday, Thursday. Everything offered on the menu except Caldo. Get in there today and enjoy Veracruz, the best queso, the best chips, fresh, homemade, the best flour tortillas, homemade,
Best guacamole
as found in a blind taste test.
homemade.
Fantastic. Allen's Wrecker Service, 578-6300. Allen's your go-to to. Ladies, put it in your phone. A Allen's. When you have a fender bender, when you have a problem, when you need a jump, when it gets hot, you're going to find out your battery's gone. You're going to need a jump start to get out of the Target parking lot and over to Interstate Battery or Atzenhofer. When you need that, call Allen's Wrecker Service. Went Services for all your generator needs. Went can help you with a turnkey, American-made Generac generator installation. You'll be thrilled at the backup whole house generator you can buy from Went. And Paravita Wellness and the Vita Cafe. Paravita inviting you in to get in and get healthy. Take your blood work. Anytime you go to the doctor and they give you your blood work, take it by to Erica. She may say, oh, wow, you need to be gluten-free, or, oh, wow, your cholesterol's high. Let's work on reducing your carbs, or whatever. Go by and see Erica Briggs, and she can help you. Ash, tell us about the Atzenhofer Vehicle of the Week. It hasn't changed, has it?
Yeah, it's a different version of, it was a Toyota Tundra earlier.
It was.
In the week.
That's
that
a good-looking
gone.
truck right there. That
This
Tacoma
is,
looks
this is a,
nice.
This is a 2024 Toyota Tacoma, 19,000 miles. It has the 4-cylinder engine, and it's on sale for $41,000.
It's pretty.
Yeah,
it's a good
nice
looking. It's all
truck.
blacked out. The grill's all blacked out.
It's got
black
the TRD
wheels.
off-road package, so this thing's ready to go. You can go harass all the Jeepsters down there.
It's gray and gray.
It is gray on gray. Got to look.
It looks
that.
nice.
19,000
miles on a essentially 3-year-old car is just not much.
No, not bad at all.
Fantastic. Runs on regular unleaded, so you're down to like $8 a gallon.
Yeah,
it's easy.
So there we go. Stage 3 conditions for Rockport. You cannot water your grass by any means at any time.
Yeah, you can't hand water even with a hose.
No, drip irrigation for foundations and landscape beds allowed every other week on the designated watering schedule that'll be determined by the city manager.
Big government.
Watering of trees, shrubs, potted plants permitted on any day as long as it's with a handheld hose with a shutoff valve and or a bucket. You cannot wash your vehicle unless you're at a commercial car wash or using a 5-gallon bucket only on the designated day.
What's scary is, like you're saying, you can't wash your vehicle. So you can't just wash your car at home. What's interesting about this is this isn't going away. It's not going away. Operators of water parks must seek approval from the city
I don't
manager.
think there is any down there. But,
No.
Fountains shall operate only to circulate water to maintain equipment. Hotels, motels, other lodging must clearly notify guests of a linen towel change on request only program, so they won't just come in every day and take your towels and wash them. If you own a pool, you must cover 100% of the pool surface area.
So it's not evaporating?
I guess, because you can't fill your pool anymore except to maintain structural integrity.
This is bad. I mean, this is a very, very real situation. And it's just 75 miles down the road from us. Yeah. I mean, you got to figure that this is coming to a town near you here in River City. Don't you think? Hey, real quick, there's David Brogger checking in. I want to mention for you guys a great program that they do. Let me find it right here. There is the
Crossroads Cruisers, isn't it?
Yes, but I want to make sure I get it right. It's this Saturday, the 16th. Their car club. Now, look, why does it do that to me? Like, look, I'm like, blow up. Yeah, I hate these apps. I really do. I just despise them. Well, I'm old and I'm blind and I'm irritable. And I don't understand why this. Anyway, Crossroads Cruisers. Let me do it like this.
You like me to read that for you?
Yeah, Saturday, May 16th, Riverside Park Special Event Center. Is that where?
Next to the sand volleyball courts.
Okay, so you're right there close to Riverside Stadium.
Yeah.
There's a car show. The Crossroads Cruisers are a 501c3, and they're raising money. It's a $35 entry fee. And I imagine most of the stars of the show have already registered.
Yeah.
They're just inviting you to come down.
And if you like fancy cars,
they've got them.
We went last year. They're great vehicles.
Yes, I'm sure. Tim Hermes will be there with the Beast. He's got a beautiful LS6 Chevy or Chevelle.
Yeah, the $35 entry fee is strictly for the cars, not for anybody that wants to go look at the cars. So, yeah. Crossroads Cruisers this Saturday. Just drive down to Riverside and look for all the beautiful restored and hopped. Junior Sample's trying to help me with, boy, you talk about the blind leading the blind. He says, fiber, Brent, fiber. It's all plastics. Fiber.
Yeah.
Fiber's going to help your eyesight. I thought that helped your digestion.
Right. Scott Tompkins says irritable spam syndrome. Well, just this morning I showed you this ad and I said, we always support the Crossroads Cruisers. And I just clicked on it and the picture blew right up. And now it just, I'm just clicking on it and nothing is happening. Johnny McGarity says the first 30 entries get a free event of the 4C, or so free entry into the 4C car show. Johnny McGarity has what does he have? Like a square body pickup? I don't remember. Mark Kurtz says Brent needs longer arms. Yeah. You ought to see the font on our Facebook comments. It's like, we get it as big as we can. Like they have to hyphenate almost every other word. McGarity says you get a free t-shirt.
There you go. Event t-shirt.
Andrew Alvarez says, I resemble that, Mark.
There you go.
He actually said, I resemble that, Mark, but I know what he meant.
Exactly. You did.
I take the poetic license to read what you mean. CNN reporting that. There you go. Number one. There you go. Let's see what number one. Their number one thing says outlandish social post, meandering speeches, dozing off. President Donald Trump's odd behavior often gets a pass. But CNN's Aaron Blake says that's starting to change. Huh. The guy sleeps none.
Yeah.
He sleeps none. And I don't dispute that. What is he, 78, 79? He's sharper than most of us. I think they're trying to say, neener, your president's just as brain dead as ours was. And it's just inarguable that Joe Biden was not only brain dead, basically a functioning vegetable, but everybody knew it and covered it up. Kamala Harris went on national TV and said, he's the sharpest man in the room. He's the first one there, the last to leave. Yeah. I absolutely have confidence in him. Less than 2 months later, she's accepting the nomination by the Democrats without a vote.
That was one of the 5 things, and buried down at the bottom of the article, Kevin Warsh confirmed as the Fed chair. They always ran every article anytime Trump bashed Jerome Powell.
Right. But he felt Powell was holding back the economy. All that said, I'm not sure Powell was a very bad Fed chief. I think he did a pretty good job as Fed chair.
I don't think he did. 54-45 vote for Warsh. Apparently, Fetterman, the only Dem to vote in favor of his nomination. CNN says it was the most partisan vote for a Fed chair in history. There's only been 17 of them.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Was it a 15-year term or something? I just made that up.
8 year? I think 8 year.
I thought it was a long term. I could be wrong.
Warsh, widely viewed to be more aligned with Donald Trump, has long demanded rate cuts. I think that's what really ticked off the president with Powell, is he wouldn't cut rates as quickly as he wanted. There are those that say that'll lead to inflation. I don't know how a rate cut will lead to more inflation, but
it's only 4 years, 4-year term.
Okay. Did not know that.
How long was Powell chairman? I'll look that up too.
I guess.
See, I have these questions because I think you guys have questions. Who's there more than 4 years?
Some of the things he wants to do, he wants to cut back on the number of policy meetings each year from 8 to 4. He wants to host fewer news conferences. He wants to shrink the size of the Fed's Washington-based workforce and not provide any hints on the path of interest rates.
8 years.
Interesting.
Powell was there 8 years, 2 terms, 18 to 26.
And he also wants to reduce the size of the Fed's $6.7 trillion balance sheet.
You notice how often nowadays you hear the word trillion and how that just 5 years ago you never heard it? It's real. I mean, people now talk in terms of trillions. Yeah, Johnny McGarry with an 87 square body Chevy pickup.
Kevin Leininger thinks Powell was there too long.
Well, okay, so here's the problem.
COVID, that's the problem.
You can lower interest rates, which will automatically spur the economy, but it can also create massive I word, inflation. If you dropped interest rates tomorrow to 2%, boy, you'd see the housing market go through the roof. You'd see all these things that we would say, wow, that's exciting, until you realize that demand would outpace supply. It could become chaotic. In no time, the price of anything you want could be very expensive. Oh, by the way, that's a good time to tell you. There's a guy named Ryan Chismark, and Ash and I, unbeknownst to each other, had reached out to Mr. Chismark to join us on our program. Now, he's a tax guru, and he's going to talk about, like consumption tax versus income tax versus property tax.
Yeah, he's big into property tax reform, but it's not
willy-nilly.
No. And he's not all taxation is theft, and he's not we must tax you to death. But it should be an interesting
I ask a legitimate question. If you don't believe in taxes, which is a great Pollyannic, anecdote, how do you pay for the roads? Brian Small says, wow, can't wait. No, but how do you pay for the roads? How do you pay for
police, fire
things
department.
like police, fire department,
hospitals?
We don't
need police. It's not a status state.
Right. We don't need police.
No.
Just arm everybody, and the strong and quality shots will survive.
Those with good shots will survive.
You and me might have a problem.
I'll get good at ducking.
Barricade. Everywhere you go, you
Zigzag.
serpentine. Yeah, serpentine. Absolutely.
Any of you got a post office box? USPS just put in for a rate request, 3%. If you have a post office box, and they want that to it be effective as of July. The agency lost $9 billion in 2025, but apparently didn't lose as much money in this last quarter as they did the quarter before. So
the United States Postal Service reminds me a lot of like Harbor Freight. Like there's things you buy at Harbor Freight and you know they're not going to work, but they're so cheap you have to buy them anyway, right? A 3/8-inch drill for $6. You know it's not going to work more than that one project you're doing, but you're so intrigued you buy it anyway. The United States Postal Service is by far the greatest value, greatest bargain on the planet when it comes to sending something. You can write a letter, put it in an envelope, address it to somebody in Seattle, and send it for what, 50-something cents?
I think it's closer.
It doesn't matter that it ends up in Detroit. It doesn't matter that they never get it. The fact is, it's such a great deal that you've got to support it. I just don't have any confidence in the United States Postal Service any longer. You know, it's not really a government entity, but it's not really privatized to compete. It's a weird anomaly. It's like I could see the airline industry becoming at some point. It's not really owned by the government, but you can't really invest in it. I could see it being like that. Postal Service used to be great.
Well, had to get something quickly to Canada the other day, and it was going to be over $100 with FedEx or US or UPS, and it was 30 something with the Postal Service. Didn't get there quite as quickly, but it still got there.
Right.
But
snail mail, we call it.
But it was a little bit more. I think it was Express, but International Express, but still $70 savings. But how much of that is, am I subsidizing them with $70 of my tax dollars? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. And how many, by the way, I think for whatever it's worth, our postal offices here in Victoria are delightful. I see the same people. They're super nice. They're very friendly. They also help you with things like if you need to get a passport, you can go to your post office, can help with that. I've had great experience with them. It's just that the model is flawed. You can only run a business so long where the model is expected to be a failure. They've never made money. When was the last time they made any money?
I have no idea.
Cody looked that up. Oh, Cody's not here.
I thought he was going to be here today.
Yeah.
Well, of course, there's a big difference between Postal Service we grew up with and what we have today. I don't know that there is, though, really. I know they're talking about getting rid of some of the, and Canada faces the same problems. Canada is not going to have door-to-door mail service anymore. They are all going to these community boxes on at one corner, and that's
every new neighborhood does that. Nobody has a mailbox on their house anymore.
No, there's no grumpiness, but I don't know what the difference is between the Postal Service. And aside from the fact that growing up, one parent was probably home, so you got to know your mail deliverer.
Some kids are probably the result of the mom's relationship with the mailman.
Be. I don't know.
Or the milkman, or both.
Oh, the milkman.
He always came in the back door. Yeah. The milkman was a backdoor guy.
Yeah. You have a milk chute? We had a milk chute on my one house growing up.
We better just hope your mom didn't have a milk chute. You know what I'm talking about? Come on.
Right beside the door. And then enterprising home thieves would
caught her there in the kitchen
to get their arm in there and unlock the door and
flipped up her apron. Did the milkshake.
Did not wear an apron.
She didn't wear an apron?
Mom, no.
No wonder you have a little brother. No wonder you have a little brother.
She didn't cook.
We just had a couple of glasses of vodka and some cigarettes, and then he left.
Yep. But yeah, the milk chute was anything less hygienic than the milkman delivering the milk in the morning. It sits in that milk chute or at the back door all day till you got home from work to put it in the oven or in the fridge.
I'll admit that I can remember.
Box.
I remember the glass bottle that had the little metal cap on it.
Yep.
Like aluminum, I guess you could take it off. Yeah. I mean, I really do. I know I'm old, but I remember that. And I remember that people used to set the bottles back out on the porch and the milkman would drop it off.
Scott Tompkins says
Thank you,
2006,
Scott.
Last year, USPS made a profit.
So 20 years ago in 06.
And I'm wondering how much of that was strictly on paper with some finagling of the numbers to make it look like they made a profit.
Who was president then? Barack Obama?
No, Bush.
Was he? Oh, he was there 2000 to 2008.
Yeah.
There you go.
Did you have bags of milk down here like we had in Canada?
Americans aren't ready for that. The bag of milk. Now, we used to have that anywhere. Have you seen those things where you go in and you raise the weight and you get the deal and you let it down? All that does is come down and pinch a bag closed, and you'll see it's like a 5-gallon bag, and they put it into a hopper that is refrigerated, and then there's like a little tube sticking down, and the weight comes in and pinches it so that the milk doesn't flow. And then when you raise the weight, the milk flows. And that's bagged milk that's used in bulk, but Americans aren't ready for bagged milk.
These like are smaller bags.
Big breast implant in your
fridge. Yeah. Except you bought this little plastic Tupperware looking milk thing, and it held the bag in it, and you snipped the corner of the bag with your and just poured it out of the jug.
Nice. Yeah. Callie Frommy says, I remember the red Carnation milk truck. And right, Callie, when you would put them out, there was a red plastic 6-pack holder for the bottles. She said they delivered milk to our house in Tanglewood. He also had popsicles.
Oh, another hantavirus patient, this one in France, critically ill, apparently infected on the deadly cruise ship.
It will start to ramp up as we get closer to the election, don't you think?
That's what we predicted.
We've got to do something.
Do something.
God, man, we've got to do something.
This woman apparently, I'm not making light of her situation, but I do believe the government is going to use this to try to something. Somebody's going to try to use this as something with election time. Apparently this woman's on an iron lung. I didn't even know they had those anymore.
Sounds painful.
But if this doesn't work, then she probably won't survive.
So what do you make of? It's my favorite part of the show. What do you make of? I heard a Democrat the other day talking about this is all the Republicans have. They can't win an election based on their agenda or their plans. Sound familiar? The Republicans are trying to create favorable voting districts for them. And that's why the Supreme Court, Trump's owned, obligated, uber conservative Supreme Court, is disrupting the balance of our nation. Yada, yada, yada. What do you make of all that?
Well, I find it interesting that they're complaining about Trump stocking the Supreme Court or stacking the Supreme Court. And the only response the Dems had to what happened in Virginia when Virginia's redistrict map was thrown out was to propose legislation to reduce the mandatory retirement age of judges in Virginia from on the Supreme Court from 75 to 54. Because within a year, every judge on the Supreme Court would have to be replaced if this legislation gets passed. So the hypocrisy on the left knows no bounds, and once again rears its ugly head when they complain about the Supreme Court, but they want to stack the Supreme Court. I think it's much hullabaloo about nothing. I think that districts could be drawn up fairly, could be drawn up more easily. You made a great point about Texas.
This point?
District 27. Yeah.
So here's our district on a map. If you can see, well, you can't see that. I guess you can see if I do it like in there somewhere. House District 27. It's very interesting to me that it goes all the way down to Corpus and like halfway cuts right through Rockport. And then it kind of comes up and follows I-37 for a while, but never into the San Antonio area. It goes around San Antonio, kind of juts in a couple of places, all the way up to Bastrop and Austin. And what I would submit is, aside from the fact that we're all Texans, this district would be better served if it hugged the coast the whole way. Or I don't understand, because the agricultural area and the port areas that we have down here and all along the coast are just totally unrelated to what's going on in Bastrop and Austin. It makes no sense to me that
there's the map for y'all to see on Ballotpedia.
It's a tremendous district full of great people, and it's a great bunch of communities. But the folks that live on the outskirts of San Antonio don't have the same issues in their lives that the people in Corpus who have no water have. Yeah. I mean, Michael Cloud is fielding questions from people in Bastrop and Rockport, two totally, one's afflicted by hurricanes, the other by no real natural disasters except a crazy fire once in a while. There's nothing left there to burn. They won't have a fire for 2 decades. It just seems odd, but it doesn't seem to me that it was contrived in such a way as to make sure that a white guy gets elected. And what I've tried to say to people—
wait a second, that would be gerrymandering that's not allowed either by under law, isn't it?
Yeah. So here's what gets me, though. Black America needs to wake up. There's just simply not enough blacks in this country to whine and moan about not being represented. For example, if you go to inner city Chicago, there's still not going to be a white guy representing that district because 85% of inner city Chicago is black. Their numbers are so big, they're still going to have representation. And people are making it sound like— there were people the other day promoting that black athletes should boycott SEC schools because of Jim Crow 2.0 and blacks not being allowed to vote. What's bad is, sadly, there are black folks and white folks, but there are black folks in America who will believe that they can't vote anymore. It's ridiculous.
Well, because Joe Biden said they're too dumb to get on the internet to register to vote.
That's exactly what he said.
Too poor to and stupid to go get a driver's license.
Right.
Is basically what the left tells them all the time.
And yet poor black kids are just as smart as white kids. Well, why can't white people be poor? There are more white people on welfare than there are black people, partly because there's a lot more white people in this country.
You know, black population is about 14% of the population of this country.
And the Hispanic community has surpassed the black community. I have said black lives don't matter except in their role as American lives. If you want to quit clinging to the past and you really want to move forward, either put up demand of the Democrats who swear that they're taking care of you for 200 years, well, since 1865, even though it was a Republican that set them free.
Here's the solution.
They think that the Dems are taking care of them.
The Democrat Party should only run blacks in every single congressional race, and that would solve the problem, right?
Yeah.
Because now they're disenfranchised according to the Democrats. So why would you not replace Adam Schiff or Nancy Pelosi with a black candidate? Makes perfect sense. If now you're complaining that they're disenfranchised and they're going to hold you down, black people in Congress, run black people in Congress.
That's what the Dems ought to do. If they think that they can get the black vote, and I'll tell you, this is just further proof. I'm telling you, the black vote in and of itself doesn't matter. By the way, Donald Trump got 20% of the American black vote in the last election. Black America that's intelligent is fed up with waiting for the Dems to take care of them. You're exactly right. If the Democrats are worried about this gerrymandering, which I'm not a fan of, I think Michael Cloud's district at least makes sense. There's not like a tether going. I remember one time that Mr. Doggett had like this tether that went over and went around another area.
Wallace Tether's just a little wider to get Bastrop, but
that's it.
I mean, it doesn't make sense.
But the Democrats, if they want to put their money where their mouth is, would run a black candidate. We are the party championing Black America, but they don't. They are much more likely to run a Hispanic candidate because there's more Hispanics. It makes no sense. And my deal is Wesley Hunt makes me look like a liberal. So it's not like he's some black Democrat. Wesley Hunt happens to be a black man.
You know, I mean, the Dems ran a white guy against Winsome Sears for governor.
Yeah, well, like we talked about, what town was that Cohen is the rep for? You got a Jewish white guy that represents, and they've got a black female running, and they're afraid nobody will vote for her because, you know, she's a Republican. Yeah. She's an Uncle Tom. She sold out to the man. You've got to be a Democrat and black to get the black vote.
Yeah, no, it's not about just the black vote. It's about being the black vote as Democrats.
It's all about power, which is exactly why the Democrats won't win elections for a while to come.
But, you know, and Andrew Alvarez ran the map for us on ChatGPT. Probably needed a couple other things in there. But it can't be that difficult to use existing, well, and it wasn't to draw the lines, but it just can't be that difficult. But it is because, government's involved.
Well, I can't say that all the Republicans are doing is trying to put things into some sense of normalcy. I am not opposed to eliminating districts that promote the election of one race over another. It's discriminatory. And at the Supreme Court level, discrimination of any kind, whether you want to call it affirmative action, a reparation, districting, whatever, it's still wrong. It's still wrong to do it that way. Folks, Palace Bingo, where friends meet friends. Get into Palace Bingo and have fun. Support 7 local charities. Palace Bingo, next Wednesday, the 20th, meet Wade and Carter at Palace Bingo. We will be there for you. Chesnick Furniture, Chesnick and Love, make your house a home. Get in and see why you just always do better at Chesnick. Bobby Leon encouraging you to upgrade your bedding game. Upgrade it. Tempur-Pedic, Silly Posturepedic, Stearns & Foster, they've got all the great brands.
Bedding. I thought you said betting.
Betting. You can bet from your bed. The chopping block, post Wacky Wing Wednesday, Thursday. Get in there. They've got everything. All your meat needs. You'll be thrilled. First State Bank of Louise, Astros update. Astros win last night. Next innings 4-3.
Win. Woo!
Brian King is useless. Should be optioned away today. Not only did he load the bases, he walked in the tying run.
Well, they kept him at 3.
He's a spare. Monty Hart says, were you saying those things to the Democrats when the previous maps were made? Have you complained to Illinois and Massachusetts, et cetera?
Are you talking to us or are you talking to somebody else?
I don't think he's talking to us. No.
I don't think so.
He doesn't have the audacity.
Astros win it in 10. Hockey half minute. Colorado 4-3 winners over the Wild in overtime to win that series 4-1. So they are waiting the winner of the Vegas-Anaheim series.
Yep. Torn Bale says if the left whines about something being unfair, they've either done it or they're about to do it. There's no doubt that the left continually seeks some type of voting advantage. They want to do away with the Electoral College. They want to count everybody in California, illegal or not, as pertains to House representation seats, on and on and on. The left has realized their agenda is non-existent. They have no agenda except to tax and spend, and they are absolutely, in my opinion, a direct arm of the Communist Party. They absolutely want to move towards equal outcomes for everybody, a living wage for everybody, by some means other than hard work and education. They want a fettered marketplace. It just doesn't float down here where people work. Ryan Thomas says there's one team with 30 wins. Is that not in the AL West, though?
Well, Ryan Hopping being a Braves fan, he's probably alluding to the Braves.
Who cares?
Know.
They'll fold up. They are good.
And it is the Atlanta Braves.
Good for them.
Best record in baseball.
I'll tell you that I'm already at the point where I could do without Dana Brown as our GM, but I can't fire him right now because it's not his fault that everybody's hurt. No. I would like to see them right now fire their strength and conditioning coach. Everybody's hurt all the time.
I don't think it has anything to do with. I don't think a snap ankle tendon has anything to do with your strength and conditioning. I think it's
got to blame somebody, and I don't think it's Joe Espada. Texas Rangers came back and won last night, according to B Small. That's the top of the hour. We love you guys. Tune in tomorrow on Friday. Don't forget to get out this weekend to the Crossroads Cruisers Car Show in the park.
Riverside Park. It'll be a good one.
Love you all.
Bye folks.